Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Arvold Mortgage Podcast. We are AMP.
What is up, everybody?
And I am Mike Arvold, the mortgage goat. And I got my brother and sidekick, Jerrid, the mortgage ninja, Boutto, with me.
Yeah, we're doing it manually for now. We'll get these buttons all updated.
We'll get the buttons.
Soon.
We, as I'm sure you can tell, we lost one of our members of the podcast, Joe Giuliano. He is no longer on the team, no longer on the podcast, but we wish him the very best with all of his future endeavors. Joe, we love you. It just didn't work out. Our visions unfortunately couldn't align, and Joe had to make the best decision for what was right with him and his family. But we love you, man. We miss you. We hope all is well. But yeah, we're still moving forward. Business as usual, man. And we haven't done a podcast
3 weeks.
3 weeks now, and we feel really bad. We know we have hundreds and thousands of viewers and listeners out there, and we just feel really bad that we left y'all hanging for so long. So we're back.
All 21 of you.
All 21. So we are back. Like I said, we got a big show for you guys today and gals. So much has happened in the last 3 weeks.
Happened.
We're going to touch on a lot of things. But before we get into what our show is about, for all you listeners and viewers out there, please do us a favor, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, and remember that you can also find us on any audio podcast platform, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube.
All
of them.
Yeah.
We're
Except
everywhere.
Apple Music, I think, is the only one that we're still waiting on.
They're just giving us a lot of pushback, and we don't like it. So
we'll figure it out.
We're going to fight them.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Jerrid fight him. He's the ninja. So, but anyway, quite the show for you guys today. We're going to talk about interest rates. Interest rates have done quite a bit here in the last 3 weeks, and we're going to touch on why. It's really great. People are enjoying it, especially our home buyers, pre-approved buyers out there, just in time for the spring market. So people are loving it, but people don't know why interest rates kind of started tanking, and we're going to touch on that. Jerrid, what else do you want to talk about today?
We can talk about loan level price adjustments again. Just kind of give an update on some of the changes that were avoided, essentially, right?
There's a big one.
Yeah, one of the biggest ones that everyone was really concerned about, especially in our industry. Some changes.
Don't let them know. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Stay tuned, right? Stay tuned.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about the spring market after that. Spring market is here.
Yes.
More
than ever, even though we did an episode on the spring market.
In January.
Yeah.
And we did.
It's really here.
End of March. Yeah. I mean, the spring market was here, but now temperatures are rising. I think we saw some over 50 degrees. A lot of the snow's melting. We're starting to see some grass. Spring market is still stronger. I mean, if not a little stronger, because the Spring Parade of Homes. I would have to say Spring Parade of Homes wraps up next weekend, and this past weekend was crazy.
It was busy.
And we figured it would be. When the temperatures rise up a little bit, people start to see some grass. People get to itch. They want to get out there. They want to see what's new.
Right.
You got a lot of looky-loos out there trying to renovate their properties, but a lot of people are hungry. They want new construction. They're sick of making multiple offers and competing with other people, so they really want to get after it. But we'll touch on that a little bit more. Now, we're also going to talk about the hurt and pain of losing an animal. We're going to talk about that. I experienced that this past weekend, but which made me not be able to sit in the Parade of Homes this past weekend, but we'll touch on that a little bit. And we have a huge announcement coming at the end of the show, so you got to stay tuned for the whole show. I don't think it's going to be an hour today. We're going to try to make them a little faster, the shows.
Yeah. Short and sweet.
Short, sweet, to the point, and that's what we're going to do on this one. So without further ado, let's jump right into it, and we're going to talk about something that everybody loves talking about. They just, half of them don't know what they're talking about, is interest rates.
Let's go.
Mortgage interest rates. So what has happened since our last show? 3 weeks ago, we were on here with Ryan Fisher. Shout out to Ryan Fisher. And something happened very quickly after that was the failure of Silicon Valley Bank in California, which was the nation's 16th largest bank. And they failed because depositors did a run on the bank. And for all of our listeners out there, if you don't know what a run on the bank is, Jerrid's going to explain it to you.
Essentially, a run on the bank is where the depositors at the bank try to pull their funds from the bank. Then they get there, and then they are told by the bank that they don't have that money.
Yeah, and that's what happened. And
That is what happened.
mortgage rates, and we're going to touch on this in a little bit, but mortgage rates have a lot to do with consumer confidence, right? In the banking industry, in the finance industry, and that's what has caused interest rates to kind of tank a little bit. But I want to get into a little bit more about the Silicon Valley Bank and why that happened. The reason behind it is because the bank's balance sheet just didn't add up, right? There was some things on the balance sheet and some news that the bank came out with that the depositors just freaked out about, which caused them to go to the bank and run on it, and pull out all their funds.
That's the short form of it. I mean, there's a little bit more there. It was a lot of with the way the bonds were being bought and resold.
It is
with lower rates, and then obviously taking on new bonds with higher rates. So there was an issue there, which ultimately led to the failure.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Jerrid, because I've done a lot of research. I went down the rabbit hole quite a bit, and the bank actually was stable.
Sure.
Like not long ago, beginning of the year, everything was stable with the bank, but then they came out with a plan to raise $1.75 billion to strengthen its capital, its market share and stuff like that. And that's what freaked people out. They're like, well, if you're doing so well, why did this just come out that you're trying to raise capital and everything like that? So that caused all of the depositors to start going and saying, well, that's a red flag, right? I don't like what I'm smelling. I'm going to go start taking my funds out. And that's what caused the run on the bank.
Yep.
So, I guess for you, and that bank is really big in tech, right? And startups in Silicon Valley.
A lot of high balanced accounts in there. So, when the FDIC steps in to insure at a bank at that level, there's a lot of depositors there that are not going to like what happens.
Right.
And ultimately happened.
And that's exactly what happened, right? And I'm glad you brought up the bond stuff, Jerrid, because essentially what happened is, being that they're big on tech and startups, right? A lot of the bank's investments was going toward that, tech and startups, right? And when the Fed started hiking interest rates up to curb inflation, it started to really hurt their investments, right? And essentially what happened is it's all about bonds. So like you said, Jerrid brought up bonds. As the Fed hikes up interest rates, what does that do to bonds?
Raises the rate.
It makes them less valuable, right?
Well, and a new bonds would be have a higher rate.
Correct.
So then how are you selling the lower rated bonds from before?
You can't.
You can't.
Right.
You can sell them at a discount.
And that's exactly what happened with SVB, right? So what happened is when they came out with their balance sheet and the plan to raise all of that capital, all of the depositors went to the bank to pull out their money, right? Because a lot of the depositors, a big portion of the bank had well over $250,000 in their bank accounts, which then FDIC does not cover. They cover everything under $250,000.
So I'm okay.
So we're okay.
I'm fine.
That's our wallets and our bank accounts speaking.
So how far do you want to dive into this? I think at the end of it, like what we really want to say is like, what did it do to the mortgage world?
Well, I want to dive into it a little bit more because just a little bit of the facts, right? Because people are like, okay, you guys are talking about bonds. You're talking about like why did they take that loss? How did it ultimately happen? Well, when the depositors went to do a run on the bank, they had to try to sell bonds to offset what the depositors were taking out to stay afloat, right? And when they did that, that's when they took a massive loss. The bank had to sell, I think it was $21 billion in assets to cover the deposits being taken out by customers, okay? And when that happened, they took a $1.8 billion loss on that sale. And that's what ultimately drove them to fail. And that's when the FDIC came in. They're trying to find other investors to take over the bank and all that to buy their assets. And it's just terrible. And like I said, what does this have to do with interest rates? I think that's what you just asked, right? What does a bank in California have to do with mortgage rates kind of tanking? And when I say tanking, I mean they did a massive drop. I think before that bank's collapse, rates were over 7%, right? On a 30-year conventional mortgage, rates were over 7%, and now it's in between like 6.125 and 6.25. So that's a massive drop. That's about a 1% drop, which is great for home buyers out there. I mean, we needed it. Let's all be honest.
Right. So this is where it raises a question for me. Was this ultimately part of the Fed rate hikes plan? because nothing was broke, right, before. So it's like, let's push the Fed rates up to see where something will finally break. And so this was the first thing to happen, and now we're starting to see that.
I see what you're saying. I like your conspiracy theories. Right. As you all know, I'm a big conspiracy theorist, and I like where your head's going, Jerrid, because do I think that's why? No, I think it was a sub factor. I think it was, we're trying to curve inflation, and the only way to curve inflation is to raise interest rates. Now, what happens once that happens, right? Once we start raising the Fed rate and all that, you start to see which banks are hanging in there by a thread, right? And this is one of those.
Exactly. And the one in New York, Signature Bank, right?
Yeah, I think there's more to come. Yeah, is what these people are saying. So
the FDIC steps in and they put a Band-Aid on it, but how long can that hold until we start to see some other things start to trickle through, right?
Well, and I think when I did my research, this was the second biggest bank failure in U.S. history. Well, there's only one more. There's only one bigger, and that was Washington Mutual over a decade ago during the 08-09 financial crisis. So to put that into perspective, man, the second biggest in history.
And the first since 2008.
And the 16th biggest bank in the United States. I mean, again, mortgage rates are based on consumer confidence, and when there's a run on the bank, and that's why the FDIC jumped in so quick, because they know what consumer confidence, how fast that can spread. It's like a wildfire, man. And that's what it started to get out there a little bit, and they were afraid that, other depositors were going to do that at other banks, and it would have caused a massive crisis. It would have been crazy. It would have been nuts. Now, it would have sucked. Mortgage rates would have tanked. So, I feel great about mortgage rates taking, and I mean, even back during during COVID, right, and all of that, yeah, the world was hurting, but rates dropped, which helped a lot of people. So that's usually what happens in the United States with mortgage rates, is when the economy is not doing good or something big happens, like this run on the bank and the bank failed and FDIC jumped in, COVID with the widespread virus and all that stuff, mortgage rates tank when things like that happen. So again, we needed it. We needed something big like that to happen to bring down mortgage rates, because rates were just getting too high, which was affecting a lot of people trying to buy houses.
We don't like to see it, but we like to see it, right?
Yes. All of our clients like to see it. All the reserves that I've had to blow through in the last 7 months, my bank account likes to see it. We're back to business. You know what I mean? Whether rates are 7%, whether rates are 4%, the Arvold Mortgage team, there's no change. I mean, we're still offering our 7-star service. Yeah. It's gone up a star.
It has.
It's just, it's so incredible.
We'll get into that at the end here.
We'll get into this at the end here. But like I said, mortgage rates, they're fantastic right now. I mean, just in time for spring market, and Jerrid's going to touch on the spring market here a little bit. But again, we love to see it. This is what we needed. This 1% drop in mortgage rates, I mean, it helps out so many clients, where before, 3 weeks ago, they were stuck.
Yeah.
Multiple offers on houses.
Let's play devil's advocate on that, though. When rates go lower, how many more people can step into the market, though, right? So the multiple scenario thing is just going to...
Devil's advocate.
Always going to be there, right? So I was explaining this to a couple yesterday at the Parade of Homes. They're talking about rates with me, and they're talking about going to purchase an existing home versus new construction. And I said, yeah, rates are getting better, but how many more millions of people can enter the market when rates drop? And by how much, right? Like if it drops 1% or 0.5%, it's got to be millions and millions of people that can now come back in.
Yep.
And so what have we been seeing when rates were high? Even January through February, mid-March, rates were, near 7, and everything was still multiple.
Everything was because lack of inventory.
We're still on this inventory thing that we cannot fix. And so where do we find that balance? And as of right now, there isn't. As soon as this happened with the Silicon Valley Bank and rates came down, every offer is in another level of multiples.
I agree. We need more inventory. And what I think...
Consider new construction.
Consider new construction, without a doubt. Shout out to NR Properties, by the way.
Yes.
NR Properties Inc., that's my go-to custom home builder that I rep, that the Arvold Mortgage team rep, and we sit with them during all the parades. And they're, again, in my opinion, one of the best custom home builders in Minnesota by far.
So I want to wrap on that real quick. So To all my buyers out there, to all Mike's buyers out there, if the rates are high, if the rates are low, quit trying to time the market. Just if you're prepared and you can make sense of that monthly payment, it's your time to shine. You can't figure it out based on this crisis of inventory. You can't get swayed away because the rates are high. As long as we can make sense of the payment for you and you can perform on that, it's your time to shine.
And it's temporary. That's what people need to understand right now.
Always refinance.
Yeah, you marry the house, you date the rate. And these are some of the highest rates that I've seen. I mean, I've been in the industry doing first mortgages for over 13 years. And I mean, when they were over 7, I mean, it was since 2005, I think they were, last time they were that high. And it was scary. I mean, for a lot of people. But again, it's temporary. What goes up must come down. And we all know what goes down must come up, because about a year ago, rates were what? Low 4s, high 3s. Look where we're at now. So again, it's temporary, people. You just need to understand, marry the house, get into the house.
And the price of the homes, right?
And the price of the homes.
When the rates are going to come down, what happens there?
Prices go up.
Prices go up.
Yeah.
So where are you really going to win?
You're quit trying to time the market. Yep. Listen to Jerrid, or else he'll come through and ninja you.
Somewhere. Chop.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, let's talk about the spring market. Again, Spring Parade of Homes is happening. It's over.
Weekend.
Yeah, final weekend is this coming weekend.
Sunday.
Yep, Sunday. And you can find the Arvold Mortgage team in Blaine.
Yep, we'll be at the parade in the Meadowlands development with NR Properties Saturday and Sunday.
Yep, and the Tyler Miller team. Shout out to the Tyler Miller team with EXP. They're out there. They represent NR Properties. Nate, the builder, is usually out there. I mean, you can usually find him sitting in that Kelly model.
I saw him.
Yeah, if you want to talk directly to the man himself and the builder, go on in there. I actually will not be there this coming weekend
I'll be there Sunday.
You'll be there Sunday. I'm actually heading to Atlanta, Georgia.
What's going
on Thursday?
Atlanta?
What is going on in Atlanta? Well, I can tell you we're flying into Atlanta. But I can tell that's not the right one.
Switched it.
I didn't switch. That's not laughable. I could dig with that, but anyway, every big golfer. Well, everybody knows I'm a big golfer, right? And the Super Bowl of golf is coming up in 2 weeks.
Is that the Masters?
It's the Masters,
wow.
and that happens.
Time?
And that happens in Augusta, Georgia, at Augusta. And I'm going. Yeah, first time, bucket list. It's been on my bucket list since I was 8 years old.
That's cool, man.
You know, I've wanted to go and got the opportunity, and I'm bringing my man JP. JP's coming with me. John Pierce, man, we're jacked about it. He's never been either. So we leave this Thursday, and we're going to play. We're flying into Atlanta and going to play some really nice golf courses out there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we head to the practice round at the Masters on Monday. Come home on Tuesday, tentatively, because I got...
So when is the Masters?
The Masters is... So we go on a practice round on Monday. The Masters starts the following Thursday. So next Thursday.
And
it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to the Masters. We're going to Augusta, but we're going to a practice round. Okay. This is like the Super Bowl of golf, Jerrid. You understand what I'm saying? Tickets to go there, you have to either do a lottery to get some, or they're about $3,000 per ticket, okay? Now, when me and JP are out there, and JP, me and him have the gift of gab. It's what we do, right?
So you're going to try to hustle some tickets.
Correct. So when we get out there, from what I hear, they're scalpers everywhere. Okay. They're on the corners holding up signs. From what I hear, I've never been there, but this is what I hear from people that have been there. And they said that you can get tickets, but it depends on how much you're going to get them for. Now, I'm not going to drop $2,500 to $3,000 on a ticket, right? But if me and JP can work our magic a little bit, and again, some of the courses that we're playing are private courses, so we'll get in and talk to people at the bar and all that stuff. And if we can find some for like $500, maybe $1,000, we're going to extend our trip and hit that Thursday round.
Sweet.
I would love to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I don't have the scratch for that.
Sure.
So, but anyway, yes, I am going to the Masters. I am jacked about it. I feel like a little kid before Christmas. And Christmas is coming, so we're ecstatic, man.
That's cool, man.
That's why I won't be there, but Jerrid will be there. Nate will be there. The Tyler Miller team will be there. So come on out to Meadowlands. I'm telling you guys right now, if you want to see just great construction, right? Come on out, check them out. And we have definitely a couple properties out there ready to buy that. The value on these ones are incredible.
Yeah, anything starting $550.
Yep. They're just
way
crazy.
up
So
to
go in there and take a look and see what NR Properties is all about.
Yep. We got there's 5 left for sale.
Spec homes.
Yep, 5 spec homes, and then that development is wrapped.
Yeah, and then we go to Radisson. So that's where we're building right now is Radisson.
Jefferson.
Yeah, and Radisson is just off of Radisson and Blaine. It's like in Cloud Drive in Radisson. So it's incredible. One of the best lots, I think, developments in Blaine.
I was just looking at it. There's a really good lot. There's 2 lots that are on the bottom end of the development that are really, really big.
It's nuts.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, and we have a couple different stages after that one's full. So we got, and our properties always has plan B, plan C, plan D. So we got a lot going on. Yeah. So that's spring market. I mean, Jerrid, what are you seeing though? I mean, again, we're the front lines. People call us to get pre-approved to run numbers. I had a really crazy busy weekend. I think I had 4 offers go out this weekend. Should be getting them all 4 back, I'm hoping today.
Sweet.
But I mean, my last 30 days has been nuts. Yeah. Just with people calling, everybody getting the itch. And a lot of them don't even know what's going on with interest rates. They're just, I think, seeing the temperatures rise, and they're just trying to knock down some goals that their family has. Right. Whether it's sell their house, downgrade, upgrade. You know what I mean?
I can say the same.
Yeah.
Obviously not as busy as a tenured loan officer, but definitely busy for sure. Running a lot of scenarios, a lot of, what can I afford?
Right.
A lot of first-time home buyers, it's kind of my niche still.
And with rates coming down, it only helps them more.
Yep.
So, but we think, to get something, Jerrid, what do you think? What do you think the starting price for a first-time home buyer is, like right now, compared to when you got in the market? It was probably, what, 200?
Yeah, it's probably 275
to 300 right now, which is pretty crazy in 2 years.
It's a lot more. And that's still getting you something that you're going to have to put some love into. It's not going to be
TLC.
It's not going to be turnkey.
No, it won't be. It won't.
But that's
turnkey.
okay, because that's where you win real quick for that refi scenario, because that's how you're going to get your equity in.
Drop your mortgage insurance.
Drop the mortgage insurance. Just better the loan. Right?
Yeah. So. Yeah, I agree. I'm all about a little TLC, man, and that's that sweat equity, boy.
It's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. All right. So we talked about the spring market. What do you see? I can tell you what I see. People are probably wondering, like, well, okay, you talked about rates right now. You talked about rates over the last 3 weeks. But what do we see mortgage rates doing up until summer, and then through summer, fall, and winter? And what I see and what I've been hearing, again, I listen to a lot of economists. I watch a lot of reports. I follow the 10-year bond very well, and what it's doing and what's causing it and all that. And we're hearing a lot of rumbling, a lot of chatter about mortgage rates potentially dropping to like low 5s, upper 4s maybe by Q4. So again, marry the house, date the rate. Again, you can always refinance, because we have a big election year coming next year, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Every day you wake up and it's like consumer confidence is all over the place. So right. I personally feel like rates are going to continue dropping. It's going to continue helping home buyers out there afford more. Their purchase power goes up every time mortgage rates drop. And it's going to be a crazy spring, summer, and fall, I think, here in Minnesota. And the country. I do a lot of loans. Yeah. We do a lot of business elsewhere in the United States. And it's
100%.
The East Coast has not changed since COVID. It's multiple offers on everything. It's absolutely crazy.
Same with the West Coast.
The West Coast is the same way, right? So, buckle up, everybody. Buckle up. And if your goal is to purchase a new home this year, might as well start on it right now. Get pre-approved, run those numbers. We'd love to chat with you. Obviously, Jerrid, the Mortgage Ninja Boutto, and Mike, the Mortgage Goat Arvold, would love to earn your trust in business.
Absolutely. Well said.
I love that, man. Let's talk about something that I don't really want to talk about. Loss of an animal, man. I had a rough weekend. The Arvold family, we lost our boy Bronco. We've had him for 16 years. So
long time. He had
my
a
wife
great life.
He had a great life.
He
did. My wife had him longer than she's had me.
That's crazy.
That's a long time.
He was a good dude.
He was a great dude, and Jerrid knew him very well.
Yep. He was definitely a friendly boy.
He was a friendly boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough. We a few weeks ago he his tail kind of went down, and he started to lose the function of his back legs. So we brought him in, and the vet said, yeah, he has a ruptured disc or a pulled disc in his back or neck or something like that. And here's some muscle relaxers and pain meds and everything to get him going, but just let him lay there for 3 to 4 weeks, and he'll come out of it. You know what I mean? And after a couple weeks, nothing was really improving. It seemed like it was getting worse. So obviously he would just have to lay there, because I don't know if you've ever pulled a disc in your back, but for those of you that have, it's brutal. Like it's terrible. So when we brought him outside, we had to hang on to his legs and let him run around, you know what I mean, to go to the bathroom or anything. And he was wearing wraps basically. And it just wasn't
a quality of life.
It was not a good quality of life. But again, we were just like, it's temporary, 3 to 4 weeks. Right. He'll be good to go. He'll be back up running again. And, it just wasn't improving. So we brought him, my wife brought him back into the vet, just to see what the vet's opinion was, to talk about next steps, or do we keep waiting? And the vet's like, hey, while you're here, I think you guys are talking next steps way too soon. You need to give him the time to heal, right? He's not sick. He's hurt. And we were like, okay, sounds good. And he's like, while you're here though, we'll do an x-ray just to make sure.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the x-ray came back and he had a tumor on his heart, pretty much the size of his heart. So it didn't have a pulled disc at all. So that kind of changed the conversations a little bit to let's move it up. So I think that was done on Thursday, and we had a plan for Monday to put him down. And I woke up on Friday morning to my wife holding him, and she said, he told me he's ready. So we're doing it today. So it was done on Friday, and man, it was hard. I'll tell you, I lost my brother to ALS a few years back, and my brother was in the hospital for a year, and I just watched him deteriorate, and we had to make the decision to take him off life support. And that brought back, me being there with Bronco during that, brought back really bad flashbacks of that. Bronco was harder. I'm going to say it. It was a lot harder because that was our choice, where taking my brother off life support was more like my mom and his wife and stuff like that. But Bronco, dude, I was a mess. I was an absolute mess. And this weekend was really tough. And it's still hard. It's going to be hard for a long time. Yeah. Coming home and not seeing...
I mean, you work from home, so he was with you all day.
All the time, man. Day. He was a natural salesman.
Yep. Yeah, he was a good dude.
Oh,
and,
man.
Yeah, I've been there, man.
Fucking mess right now.
It's tough, so condolences to you and the family. Rach,
I appreciate
especially.
It. Yeah. Rach is taking it really hard. I know Madison's taking it hard. I mean, when you're with somebody for 16
years.
Yeah. It's and it's that the reason it was harder, I'll touch on this and then we'll move on to something else because we have to, because I'm beginning to become a mess right now. Yeah. But that unconditional love. So when you come home, you're having a bad day. Your dog doesn't complain. Your pet doesn't complain. Right. Your pet loves you. It barks and welcomes you home and gives you kisses and all that. So it's that unconditional love that made it a lot harder for me than losing a human. And it's our house will never be the same. That's for sure. So shout out to Bronco.
Rest in peace, brother.
Rest in peace, brother. I love you. We all love you. Yes. But Jerrid, that's let's move past this topic because it sucks.
It's a tough one.
It sucks. So I think we'll end it with a couple things. I mean, again, we told you guys we're going to make this podcast a little shorter. It's our first time back in 3 weeks, and we just got some big news. But I want to ask Jerrid some questions. I got some questions for Jerrid, and then we're going to touch on the biggest announcement, and then we're going to cut it off for the podcast. All right,
let's do it.
All right, Jerrid. Here's my questions for you. If you punched yourself in the face and it hurts, are you weak or strong?
That's a little bit of both.
It would be both. Try it.
I don't want to. I don't want to shame myself.
Think about that, because you would knock yourself out.
Right.
It would be amazing.
Well, so if it hurts,
you're strong.
No, I feel like you're weak, but if you knock yourself out, then you're strong.
I like that. Right? That's a fair assessment.
Like if I'm just like, oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
it's like, well,
you're weak.
But if like you just cold knock yourself out,
the left side
strong.
of your brain would be like, dude, what the fuck?
Because like you can't call someone weak for getting knocked out technically, right? Like that means the dude was just super strong.
Not necessarily, really well. Man. It hits you right on the button. You got buttons everywhere, man. Wherever you get hit. You know,
So it's a
it
little
doesn't
bit of
mean you
both.
have a weak
It
face.
depends what happens.
You have a very chiseled, strong face.
That's not true.
Opinions vary on that. All right, next question. Have you ever wondered why 11 isn't pronounced 21?
Never once thought about that.
Think about it.
It's stuck now.
21, 31,
Yeah.
41, 51. Why is it 11?
It was for like guitar amps to go to 11.
Tell me more.
It's just a thing. They usually only go to 10, but these ones they go to 11. It's an inside joke. Any musicians out there that know Spinal Tap? It's a joke.
I didn't get the joke.
You wouldn't.
So I want to
watch
though.
Spinal Tap.
I will watch that. Note to self: when I go home, I'm watching it.
It's a good one.
And then
It's
we'll
a
come
classic.
back. We'll come back to this inside joke. Next question. Why do you think the sun makes your hair lighter, but our skin darker?
No idea.
Do you want to know?
I do.
So hair is dead, essentially, right? Did you know that?
Sure.
Your hair is dead. And skin is alive. You knew that, right?
Yeah.
Help me out, people. So anyway, because your hair is dead and your skin is alive, the sun bleaches and destroys the melanin in the hair, making it lighter. Follow along.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is
This
very.
is-
You might have to go home and tell Leah this.
Yeah.
And just blow
whatever, Bill
her-
Nye.
All right. So since hair is dead, the hair will stay that color until new hair comes in. When the sun shines on your skin, it destroys the melanin as well. But with skin being alive, it can respond to the damage and make more melanin, and the skin becomes darker.
I think you owe Wikipedia a shout out. You did not know that on your own.
No way I knew that.
Yeah.
I said no way I knew
Okay,
that.
I was gonna
Not
say
a
that.
chance,
You
man.
need to quote
I'm a
me.
mortgage guy.
Yeah. I think right now you need to cite Wikipedia.
Shout out to my wife Rachel because
she knew this.
she's Google.
Oh.
My wife knows everything.
So do you ever just go like, "Hey Rachel," and then she just spits back facts?
Yes, Mike.
That's
No,
great.
she doesn't do that. But anyway, all right. Last but not least, I got a really good question for Jerrid because he's big on investments and all that. This is a good one. I want an answer.
Okay. I'll try.
All right, last question. Why are they called apartments when they are all connected?
Dude. You put me on the spot. I have no idea. That's a long one.
It's a good question
Yeah, apart, right? Because the word
because
apart.
they're apart. Yeah. If anybody knows that answer, I don't know that answer. I've always wondered
But
that.
they're
though.
all, yeah, they are all connected, right? So
Apartments
a
are
house
connected.
Is not connected.
Right. Apartments are connected, but I don't get it. Why are they called apartments? Connectments.
I don't like the way it sounds.
Connectments it doesn't have the flow off the tongue with it. But
That's fine.
all right, that's all the questions I have for you today, man. That's
Good questions that I had no.
I got
clue
more.
that
Yeah,
they
I
were
got
coming.
man, I got Wikipedia has more.
they might.
So anyway, let's get into the biggest announcement that we've had on the Arvold Mortgage team
So far,
so far. Yeah, there's always going to be more big announcements, but
this one's big.
this is a big one. So the Arvold Mortgage team, and I should say Refine Lending
Yes.
as a whole,
Yep.
where, again, before Refine Lending, what a lot of people didn't know is that we were a division of Goldwater Bank,
Yep.
right? Goldwater Bank based out of Arizona.
Yep, Phoenix.
Yep, that's where all of our underwriters were, and that's where our money came from. Again, we still lent out our own money as the bank. And we also serviced our loans because we had a sister company, Westar Mortgage.
Correct.
But we have left Goldwater Bank. I should say Jerrid has.
I have.
Again, a lot of Refined Lending has already gone over to Luminate.
I feel like less have come over than there will be.
Yeah, and that's end of this week.
It was like phase one.
Yeah, phase one, I wanted to send Jerrid first to get his feet wet and all of that. But phase two comes here on Monday, which is next week. Obviously, I'll be at the Masters, but I have a lot of loans closing still with Goldwater Bank for April. And Carolyn, my amazing ride or die, go-to right-hand LOA assistant, is staying with Goldwater until the end of April to make sure that there's no issues, everything closes out really, really well, and we still offer that 6-star level of service. But come Monday, or I should say I'll be at the Masters on Monday. Tuesday I get back. Come Tuesday, Wednesday, I will have a different email address. My phone number will stay the same. Jerrid is already over at Luminate taking applications.
That was the first time you name dropped it, so we should probably say where we went. Because you just name dropped where we went without leading up to it.
Oh, Luminate.
Yes.
Luminate Bank.
Yes, we're with Luminate Bank.
Sorry, Luminate Bank. So we are now refined lending. And again, all of you might ask, well, is it just the Arvold Mortgage team that left? Everybody within refined lending. We own the right to refined lending, and we are now refined lending powered by Luminate Bank. Luminate Bank is an amazing company. It's actually based out of Wayzata, Minnesota.
I think it's Minneapolis.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
On the border.
Tomato.
You know, the owners there, I mean, they're incredible guys, and they share a vision that Nate Reich, our owner of Refined, shares. And it's weird, like, you almost think that we should have been working together for the last 7 years.
Yeah, it's, you know, the first question a lot of people are going to have for us is, well, what does this mean for me? Well, it's very simple. The process is a lot more tech forward. It's a lot more user friendly. The platform that we are on allows for us to give you that. Now we're adding a 7th star to our service. We've always been 6-star level of service prior, but by joining with Luminate, we have one more edge to provide.
Because of the tech.
Because of the tech.
The tech's incredible. I mean, you know, the application software, it is one touch. It allows you to upload all your documents right there on the spot. We have a lot more access on our cell phones.
Yes.
So we don't always have to have our computer right in front of us to give you pre-approval letters and do whatever you need. But the tech alone was worth it right off the bat. Obviously, better interest rates, sharper programs. But, you know, shout out to Goldwater. I mean, I love everybody there. They are just, I'm really sad to leave all those amazing people. But at the end of the day, we owe it to our clients to give them, continue to give them the best service and the best technology in the industry. And we had to make this change for all of our clients. So we're really excited. Again, our emails will change briefly. Our cell phone numbers have not, though, people. If you have a question, if you want to run a scenario, give us a call. Again, we've already got loans over at Luminate, so we're closing. We're already on the process. We understand it. Everything is very
fluid.
System. Yeah, same system as we used at Goldwater, and I'm telling you,
but it's built out.
It's built out a lot better.
Very well.
And turn times are way sharper. Yeah. We're seeing 24-hour, 48-hour turn times, which is just incredible. We'll be able to get your loans clear to close a lot sooner than Goldwater, and just because of the tech and all of that is just light years ahead. So we're really excited, man. It's a big change for the Arvold Mortgage team, but the change to our clients is only going to be better. You're still getting that 6-star level of service with an added star.
Yes.
I didn't even think that was possible. It is, and it's going to be amazing. Everyone's going to love it.
10.
Well, we're on our way. So, but for all of you that have questions out there regarding this transition, don't be worried. Again, if I have a loan closing for you in April, it's still going to close on time and perfectly, and you're still going to get that 6-star level of service because, like I said, Carolyn, my right-hand lady, is all over it, and her first day at the new company is May 1st. So she's going to close out our pipeline over there. Everything new coming in is going to be done with Luminate, and still same service over here. There's really no change. So, but that was our big announcement. I mean, it's
exciting.
It's very exciting.
Very exciting.
It's been a crazy couple weeks because you throw Madison got her tonsils taken out too a week ago. So with that and Bronco, she's healing really good, man. Good. Yeah, she's healing good. But the Arvold Mortgage or the Arvold family just had a lot of things thrown into the pot at once. So it's been a lot, you know. So, but we're moving forward. I mean, we don't have time to complain because let's be honest, who's going to listen?
Right.
Ain't no one going to listen.
Nope.
So we just, we get stronger. We learn from it. And we just push forward. But I tell you what, that's our show. That's all I got. A lot of big stuff, but we'll be back. So I won't be here. I'll be at the Masters next week.
Skip a week.
So we're going to be skipping a week.
And come solo?
You can.
That'd be weird.
You can do whatever you want. You'll be talking to yourself. Hey, Jerrid. Hey, Jerrid. But that's all we got, man. We appreciate all of you. And don't forget, please, for the love of God, hop onto YouTube, subscribe. Give us a subscribe. I don't know why you wouldn't want to see Jerrid and I on a weekly basis.
And we have a lot of guests lined up still.
Oh my God. We got a big guest.
The biggest.
We got a big guest coming in a couple weeks. And It's going to be awesome. You guys are going to want to tune in for that. I don't really want to drop.
No.
You know, he's got some billboards.
Oh,
You guys might have seen him. He's got some billboards out there.
You just gave it away.
No, I don't think so. But anyway,
got a
we
billboard.
got a big guest. You do it. You had a billboard.
I had a billboard.
Yeah, you did have a billboard.
Oh,
fancy
am I the guest?
Jerrid. Jerrid is
I'm
the
the
guest
guest.
every week. But anyway, we appreciate everybody. Do us a favor, hop on there, give us a subscribe, and tune in. Like I said, we're dropping knowledge about the mortgage industry every single week. We got some of the best guests, the biggest people within the real estate industry, mortgage industry in Minnesota and the country, in my opinion, on the show. And we're here to make y'all laugh. We're here to provide that knowledge, give you guys the power, and make you laugh.
Yep. Thanks for being here, guys.
We love
We'll
y'all.
see you on the next one.
Have a good one.
See ya.
Have a great week. Deuces.